My energy ecliptic, love's circle persona, self-love, best love, world love. You knows my honor. Greetings, I be your host, JaMes Peter Bastien, in peace, prosperity, power. It's my honor to share my affirmations, visualizations, and unisons manifestations, and all satisfactions. The mind, body, and soul is to grow in all facets. Presented in procreation, this is MB9T podcast show. May you be at peace in whatever the action is proclaiming, ascending the greatest of all satisfaction, like your goals a bullseye, your actions the dart. Believe in you no matter the ending or the start. For your life, must you claim it. Se Lavi De Moi by 9 Initiative. My firstborn in literature creation, Biography, spirituality, self-help. This book, I could never glance in creating an audio version of, as you will read, or should I say hear shortly. For me, I've placed in the introduction of such book that it's a potency for me and powers in regards to the inner voice, in regards to the visualization of the words becoming actions to you. So for me, when you're able to read something, I feel like there's a lot more potency that's combined amongst the vision of the words becoming life into your mind, as well as the sounding of your inner voice regurgitating these words that, for me at least, alleviate these words to be more meaningful to me, rather if I was to be hearing it for someone else. I think an audio version of reading, at least for me, it allows me to diversely engage in different things, right? And socially, at least, that's what we love about audio books, right? Or audio reading, is that you're able to multitask. But at least for me, when I'm listening in audio version of books and things of that factor, I found myself less connected with the words, right? Because I can visualize, right? I do still hold the power of visualization of the words, but within my own mind, reading of that inner voice, that godly voice, reading material always goes to me being able to put my eyes into the words that place the inner voice to speak out, or either my outer voice to whisper, or verbally directly say the words that's written to be. So for me, that causation in reading is a lot more powerful in the proponents that it carries, to where I never set to just establish my firstborn, like I said, Se Lavi De Moi by 9 Initiative as an audio book aspect. So today what I'll be doing is doing essentially a review of the books and the different chapters, which is decoded through initiatives and such, to where I can, I'll do my best and give you some either like quotations, sentences like that, but merely for me to mirror the words in exact totality and reading out to you won't be something that I'll be doing today. But like I said, I'll do my best to give you all the different 9 initiatives. May read a couple poetry that's established within the book as well. So to give you a glimpse of that beginning, There is, I guess, a short synthesis of the book, which kind of derive in explaining the author biography aspect of JaMes Peter Bastien. So I'll read that out to you fully in totality. Se Lavi De Moi by 9 Initiative. I am life from the essence of birth. Though I have not experienced life through the existence of death, but through birth only, I only lived around a surrounding which fears death. I am time in effect to my causes. I learn more by mind than through body. The body can only be at one place, whereas the mind can travel by the seconds. A jack to my nothing, a master of all. I know nothing but all but nothing. JaMes Bastien is a melanin man with ancestral background of an African bloodline traced from the Levite tribe, one of the 12 from Judah. Location is set from Yoruba Benin, a town in west of Nigeria. Displaced me forward to a land known prior as Saint Dominique, later changed to Haiti, the land of mountain where the biggest slave revolts was established by the effort for change. From where the name was executed to define the people and of their wrongdoings, the land of hate, those who hate themselves became known to the world as Haiti. I'm now feeling the effect of an Eastern mind with my body being in the West. Hemispheres have energies and spirits that have significant similarities but difference by values. As an author, athlete, musician, actor, entertainer, my biggest gift to the universe is creating. I create on the aspect of things that can enhance our experience universally. If it cannot assist for the better, I simply respect this for what it's for. I do not build to destroy the action of my opposition. Self-love, best love, let's create world love. So in this process, that will be the ending of a self-guidance that goes into the continuation. I would go to you the breakdown of the pages. You have the introduction that starts on page 4. Initiative 1, which is 1 of 1, that starts on page 12. Initiative 2, simplicity, which starts on page 24. Initiative 3, spirit versus war flesh, page 29. Initiative 4, I sleep when I die, page 35. Initiative 5, power feels like you, page 46. Initiative 6, the young old man, page 51. Initiative 7, daring true, page 55. Initiative 8, infinite love, page 64. Initiative 9, the transition, page 68. Conclusion, there's none, page 75. We have some poetries from page 78 all the way down to what is called bassery, also known as glossaries for definitions, which starts on page 117 and ends the book with the bassery. So that what goes into that. I will read off a little bit on the introduction to give you more glimpse of my idealization of viewership in that regards. So in the introduction, Mr. Bastien, who is I, starts off in speaking on to how some pain, some external or internal pain may be felt view amongst these direct truths, which is being his truth. So in that regards, he simply directly opposed the idealization that his life is a little different than most people, that he does think clearly, freely from his own spectrum of understanding. But another big viewpoint from this introduction is from a veteran of his, Malik Dixon, who is a former co-worker at Nike, who really, man, although I knew literature was in me, I got to give him so much credit, because what was in me that was so freely to be exposed outward, he really put me in to that state of mind that I should have always been in, right? The writer. And yeah, he just really helped me galvanize the idealization, bro. You got an amazing story, man. You got a whole life path that's set different than most people, you know what I'm saying? And that day really gave me a prideful viewership of my life. That day gave me a viewer understanding that, like, hey, nobody's perfect, but the life that you live in is perfect for you, and the goal that you have is attainable for you. You know what I'm saying? And he just really placed that battery, like I say, in my back. For most time for me, having to charge myself up was me having to take out the old battery and placing the new battery there myself. But to get assistance from someone else seeing greatness in you and say, hey, let me help you out. I got you, bro. You don't gotta do nothing much. I'll place that battery in your back. I'll recharge that for you. You know what I'm saying? So much love to him, and I definitely had to oppose that comprehension, like I said, in that regards, that he propelled upon me in that time frame. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, another big viewpoints I want to speak on. You know what? I will actually read a little bit in that regards, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Self, in the book introduction, there's a part of it where I say self, I will spell as self, C-E-E-L-F. Reasoning, I would say, is my understanding of cells being millions of different particles working as one unit. Definitely not the scientific definition. I can bet that certain I'm wrong by definition of cells, but my direct response to that is life is in the eye of the beholders. I see myself as millions of pieces unified by the flesh, which is hidden within my spirit and mind. We all know we don't live the same in the same home, different countries, but maneuver, however, smells the same. Something about nature just made me think, nothing is different if at the end of the stick is only opposite. I mean, is opposite different when unity is the middle ground between the both parties? So, to re-explain that, self, as we learn in English definition, is S-E-L-F, right? And we have cells, right, that kind of decodes the million particles that makes the one human anatomy of the body, right? Cells, right? It's multi-means that makes that. I looked at to place cells and self, the wording into the two wording into one. You know, like I say, spelling self with as C-E-L-F to apply myself, like I said, and knowing that we're as one being, multi millions and millions of cells that makes the one body. You know what I'm saying? So instead of separating my cells, I look at myself as one cell of self in totality, if that makes sense to you. Hopefully it did. Hopefully it didn't go over your head. Also, another notion that I had in the book is also my decision of cursing. I decided not to curse in this writing material so that it can be diversely acceptable to any age range, and also not be limited by somebody else upraising to feel like, hey, if it has this, I guess, profanity, then I'm not giving it a chance. I wanted to have no excuse rather than education. I do also would honestly omit as well that I use different ghetto language, hood language, term language, things like that, or like I said, my own linguistic ways of spelling things, only because, one, this is my book, two, it's my views of my upbringing and my life, right? So yeah, I could want to be I guess, a scholar for everybody else in that viewership perspective, but also every scholar is not going to be the one that's reading this book. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be somebody that just need a different view of what life can be for them, that may not have no adequate universal backgrounds, things like that, but they're a student of life and they want to find the simplistic way or learning different ways of things, and that's what I wanted to assure that the book can provide. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, another big notion for me in that introduction, and just hold on with me because I'm trying to find it directly, and the reasoning to kind of word for word explain to you why I decided not to make this a writing. I decided not to make this a writing. Reading material. Something I didn't want to read is because, like I said, there's many virtues of your own power that's taking some time if I am to read this out to you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, let me go ahead and find that. Let's see right here. Okay, perfect. You know what? Before I even go to just directly explain that, I'll give you a little bit more depth in the introduction and why that went in that route for me. Okay, so starting this paragraph in the introduction, I go off and say, telepathy I've read and complied to understand to be, if ever was the first language. If truly language breaks down to connecting through connection, the idea of using our eyes, hand, nose, mouth, feet, sounds, nature, and many more options as a way to communicate seemed just about right that telepathy first stood ground. Then language came along and said, I have a dream that one day we all be separated by the forces invested by differences governed by choices, having humanity pick on one another until I see dead flies everywhere. That language, fool, is no joke. Do you hear me? Very probable you can hear me because your mind has a voice when you read that makes out a voice within you while reading this art and writing illustration. So I will not be doing an audio book. Self-reflection state the experience for your understanding is better if I leave this for you only as a reading material rather than audio or visual. Of course, it will be easier for you through audio and video, but I'd rather train you to use your powers, not to store them away and forgetting your ability like I was, or they thought I would. They put to rest my birth parents who wanted me to fail. They is an excuse to talk. I have no excuses. I only have a reason to speak. I'm direct, no chain elephants in my sermon. I aim to free minds and uplift spirits. I need your attention with your eyes with these words, but your vision and voice, I owe you the favor to not take away your powers of your imagination, epiphany, and most importantly, your perspective on what you feel. So, there you have it. And that for me is why I just couldn't fully capture myself making this book of mine in audio, because I don't, at least for me, I found potency when I read things because I hear myself. And hearing myself read something to me connects a lot more for me amongst whatever I'm reading rather than hearing it out. I think hearing it out, of course, at times, I'm a visualizer, right? So in any conversation, in any words, there are pictures. They're like paintbrushes being stroked left and right amongst what's being said that I can actually put into vision, or like, again, over the conversation is like a movie being played in my head by what's being said and done, right? So I get that, but for me, in a lot of ways, it just doesn't consult for me in the educational ways. Again, with the hearing, the seeing, the feeling, the all the variation that all the various ways that you can learn from reading. I feel like audiobooks hinder us because in our society we're trying so hard to multitask and do so many things at once that, yeah, that's cool that you was able to read it, or listen to it, this, that, and the third, but were you able to connect to it as much as you should, right? So I try my best to actually use all my senses to the highest of its capabilities and doing something at its best potential rather than doing something and getting it completed but only really getting maybe 40 to 50% of the maximum, 40 to 50% out of 100 of the maximum capability or effort I could have got out of it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's really why I need to it's been years people have been asking me, because I wrote this book back in 2020, so you're looking at about 5 years, where, yeah, bro, what's up, man, do an audio book. I'm like, nah, that's not what it's made for. So hopefully you got that conversation, and hopefully in this breakdown of such introduction, you're able to comply with me more in knowing my reasoning behind such. Cool? All right, cool. So we move on to Initiative 1, which is titled One of One. In this initiative, I pretty much, in this book, like I said, it decodes in 3 genres: biography, spirituality, self-help. And I didn't do chapters because in my notions, I wanted to utilize the initiative from a viewership of the circumstance to explain something in a autobiography circumstance that happened to me, while also being able in that same situation speak on the visual. I say visual. I meant to say spiritual. To also speak on the spiritual aspect of this knowledge from my intuition, right? And also speak on the self-help idealization that such initiative by initiation allow me to learn from, earn from, and able to give back to the people, place, and the thing, which, again, from any initiative that was written from the autobiography perspective, I've been able to utilize in this book only for spirituality and self-help purposes, not just the me idealization, but decoding it that, hey, like, this happened to me, this also happened to other people in this lifetime too. Spiritually could mean this, spiritually can be decoded for that, and here's how we can improve the experiences that happen to us and also our surrounding. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my mindset was going regarding, like, what's your feng shui for this book? Like, what's the model, right? The tone that's set, the precedence, right? And that goes into that. So with the Initiative 1, One of One, it's really it goes off in the beginning stages of me, and speaking in that terminology, like from my birth parents, my mother, my biological, I would say, birth giver, I call in the book, is my mother. Birth seeder is my biological father. You know what I'm saying? So in that initiative, it really just going off of the beginning stage of me, like the thought of me before I was born, in regards to like those two individuals, and the backstories I've heard throughout years later on, in my late 20s, that allowed me to read this book, and to write this book in my early 30s, right? So in that beginning, like I said, just expressing that idealization of my background, my lineage as a Haitian born male, being that both biological parents are from the island of Haiti. You know what I'm saying? Breaking down my birth date, September 26, 1989. You know what I'm saying? How that was decoded about. Showcasing the respect level that I have for my great man, a stepfather of mine, Level Cornell, who passed away actually last year, 2024. So rest his soul. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You live and learn. He was definitely not a perfect man, but he was definitely a perfect man from the values that I could say I at least learned from him, was able to attain from him. With that as well, it goes into the life of mine, you know what I'm saying, that really differentiate me for being me in a lot of ways, in the sense of I don't yeah, like, so even with the idealization, spirituality and stuff like that, for me it's a tough comprehension for me, because it's like, it's one of those things for me. It started off as a newborn, you know what I'm saying? It started off as a newborn, and for me, I never understood the journey of my life, or where it was taking me, until, I guess honestly, until I wrote this book, you know. So going back to the book itself, the Initiative One. Initiative One is just speaking of that difference of my upbringing. So in short, I was born in America, like I say, from my biological parents. After 6 months old, what ended up occurring was that my biological parents set split. They set a difference amongst whatever they want in life, whatever their goals altered. You know what I'm saying? They decided to go for a different. I won't really say they decided to go for severe tide before tide burn. You know, people have their reasoning of doing things. So, in that book as well, I guess I go off in the perspective of explaining, like, explaining just that, like, one, to be transparent, like, the knowledge and the information that I've galvanized from this book is one from my biological father side. You know, when I met him when I was 26 years old. I can't confine none of the truth to dialect directly from my biological mother's side, because it's something that she never aid upon providing me, you know what I'm saying? So even in this book, in the Initiative 101, the way that I learned my actual birthday was in school, you know what I'm saying? My birthday, I thought originally was September 9th, you know what I'm saying? Because off my ignorance, one, never having a birthday party. When I was in second grade, you know, I spent my first, I guess, seven years of living in Haiti. You know what I'm saying? I was born in America, and based on, you know what I'm saying, like I was telling you earlier, my biological mother and father decided to separate at that early stage of my childhood. What, from my understanding, was that he told me was that, hey, he didn't see things working out, this, that, and the third, and then, you know what I'm saying, and obviously they were staying in Florida, in the Fort Lauderdale, Broward County area, and he decided to desert it out and go to Georgia with the notion of, hey, I'm still going to be taking care of my son, I'll just be coming to take care of him whenever I do, you know, pay my dues in that regards, but I guess relationship-wise, I want to be with you. So like I said, explaining this story only coming from his end is all I can express, and obviously I can express that there's some truth to it because I experienced living in IT. So yeah, so he said pretty much not even too long, but maybe a couple of weeks or a month from having that situation or making that move. Once he decided to come back and see me, he found out that like I was I was transferred, I guess, took a flight to Haiti, you know what I'm saying, to Haiti. And from that story, it galvanized or captivated to what was stated that my biological my biological mother sold my information, my U.S. citizenship, you know what I'm saying, to a father who was trying to get his son in America who was supposed to be a newborn. So how that story went was that, from his end at least, was that again things didn't work out with them. So to get back to my father, my biological mother plan was that, okay, since you don't want to be with me, I'm gonna do you wrong. I'm gonna send your child to Haiti and I'm gonna get him stuck there. By once he get there, I'm gonna give somebody else his information. You know what I'm saying? So how can I falter? How can I argue that? Not really. The reasoning for me, like I said, is the experiences I had. So what ended up happening for me was, from 6 months old, I was there to about 7.5 to 8 years old. So clearly there was some reason why I was there for that time frame, right? Another situation was that like I was supposed to be going there for a month or two, so on and so forth. And again, that's what one story I was told, and then I got stuck there. I don't, you know what I'm saying, from one of my biological mother's side, but nobody ever depicts nothing more than that. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, as we further on the story, it goes on to that point where, I'm stuck there. The reasoning behind it is supposed to be that, like, another father got his kid to America, so it took a long process for me to get back to America, so on and so forth. And that just really starts the beginning process of growing up living a uncertain life, you know what I'm saying? Living a life where people tell you what is or what was, you know what I'm saying? Growing up where my spirit raised me. And I say that to say too, because it's a blessing for me. And my intuition, my persona, my viewership of life is only as is because of the experiences that I've gotten originating to life. You know, one of my most beautiful moments was one of my darkest, scariest moments, and as a newborn infant, you know what I'm saying, going through a dark night in IET, and you know, dealing with such trauma, ended up becoming the brightest morning for my own enlightenment at early months. So I don't think I was even a year, but experiencing that, I never had that. I don't know. I always felt like I'm hearing myself think. I always seen people like. So I always been a chameleon from that day, from the idealization of like being a sponge to the world, like looking around and observing. You know what I'm saying? So to me, without that experience, I'm not who I am. You know, through the good and bad, every experience that I've risen from. You know what I'm saying? So, a part of that initiative, there's a lot more to it. Me discussing the idealization of IET being AYITI, translation into Haiti, HAITI, you know, the land of hate, a Haitian, someone who hate themselves, right? The IET, the land of mountain. And, you know, really expressing the idealization, why that word is so effective amongst the people by what they're doing to each other, you know what I'm saying? Why we're the only country that name was changed based on meaning, you know what I'm saying? The only thing we see in the English language for other countries that don't have the same English decoded alphabets is that sometimes you might have spelling change based on pronunciation, but the idealization of changing the meaning of a country name is totally something like only Haiti have to deal with, going from Haiti to Haiti. You know what I'm saying? So I break that down a little bit in that regards. You know what I'm saying? Speak on a little bit more factors of, like I said, meeting my biological father at 26 and the perspective that he gave to me, how much of my life that I kind of live out on the outskirt of like looking to understand myself more and so on and so forth, and how, you know, it put me in a stray in regards to not knowing myself, but at the same time I always knew myself more than I needed, because it's like I'm lost based on the societal viewership of not having groundsmanship from a parenting perspective, from a religion perspective, but I'm found because in my biggest power was my spirit, my spirituality, you know what I'm saying? So, and also I decoded a little bit more information in regards like the diverse upbringing that I have, pretty much being a Jamaican, what is a Jamaican Haitian, you know what I'm saying? Like having the blessing to meet that side of my lost tribe when I'm 12, 13. A great brother of mine, Jonathan Butler, you know what I'm saying? I speak on the step siblings, cousins, galvanized by my stepfather, Lavelle Cornell. My lifestyle that was captivated with food and dieting, things like that. You know what I'm saying? All the way to the end of the initiative, to where like I learned more about myself in regards to when I met my biological father at the age of 26, learning about his family to a certain aspect, and to have it finish off to where I was played by that same man, you know, for financial gain. And I would leave it like this for you. The way I finished that initiative is with this sentence. Don't trust the eyes for all seen and think. Takes a second to trust, but can change in a blink. And that's the reality of the life that I know. It's really hard for me to convince any emotion out of that statement. It's just the reality of such statement, you know what I'm saying? So I don't fight it, you know what I'm saying? I don't garnish that, the unconditional love statement that they say that it doesn't exist for man, you know what I'm saying? I bettered that my whole life, you know what I'm saying? I know unconditional love is for kids, dogs, and fucking women. That's cool, you know what I'm saying? As a man, you gotta provide. You as a man set your own unconditional love based on the standards and structure that you provide yourself and your family, you know what I'm saying? So I take heat with that, I'm cool with that. So that will go in that, that will go in completioning, that don't make sense. That will go in completing the explanation of Initiative 1. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it? All right, well, further on, we'll go on to Initiative 2, which is titled Simplicity. So with that beginning, Initiative 2 really just goes on to my idealization of how simple life was, and just one from a child perspective, but also what life was to be from a third world country in IET, you know what I'm saying? And how much of a blessing it was being raised with my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? How much it was a blessing also getting closer to my ancestral root before I knew that time was for me to be eradicated, I guess, in the sense of stripped away. So the simplicity of Initiative 2 really goes in the beginning process of me living with my grandmother, being raised in a third world country, raised by my aunties, my uncles, you know, that take a village to raise a child mentality that most those third countries suffer from, you know what I'm saying? Speaking upon the different upraising situational that my family in that regards went through from a third world country perspective. The joy of having lights come on for 40 minutes after having it for no days or weeks, months. You know what I'm saying? So those little things like that I could always remember. You know what I'm saying? Also, this chapter also goes into one of the biggest initiatives that's set in my life, which was accident that occurred to me as a young kid, maybe 6 years old, I'm not sure. But practically, I was in school in IET at the time, and there was something to be completed on the board, and the teacher asked me to go ahead and complete it, so on and so forth. And externally, so I was pretty good as I am today in math and having a charismatic personality. And haters gonna hate Taylor Swift. That song, man, listen, that song been in my ear before you made it. But long story short, I completed the task that the teacher asked, on and so forth. And I guess braggadociously, me going back to my chair like, yeah, doing my little, I'm the man dance. Somebody ended up tripping me, and this trip pretty much set, this trip pretty much set what's been from that day to this day, inconsistent ability to breathe properly through my formation in life. From that day has set unprecedented, unwarranted feelings and emotions that don't align with my spirit, my joy, my passion, and my care for living. For the days that you feel like you're drained, you're tired, you're fatigued, right? So that injury, it plagued me in a lot of ways. From the way I speak, from the way I take pause and stuff like that. So you may think I'm speaking, but I'm thinking. But in reality, it's me awaiting my threshold to get back in line. It's a super depth focal point because it impacts so much other things, as you understand with the body anatomy. Once one thing off, it's like the car, everything else is either trying to overly compensate for it, which then affects that overly compensation to be something more of a negative degree, should I say. So with that, once I tripped over, what ended up occurring was that there was a big old brick type of like wooden desk. Like these ain't American stylish, cute looking wooden desks. These are like cut from the tree. What's the word? Shiny, like glossy effects after. This like still got like, you scrape your hand on that thing, you might cut your hand. Type of tree desk, should I say. But lo and behold, once he tripped me, I was like unaware of being tripped, so you just walking and boom. And then at that time I'm a kid, so not looking in preparation of how to carry myself from a fall. It was like, so from my mouth being wide open, and that desk wanted me, knock me the fuck out, and that's exactly what it did. I got knocked the fuck out by that desk, but the desk also took in part about 2 of my front teeth and knocked me out. Like it was not just about missing the teeth. I was out for like weeks, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, I'm dealing with the medicines, or I guess the procedures at the time that they had at the time in IET. So as I recall, I don't really remember how I got home, this, that, and the third, but I was told that I was pretty much I was out like a light. The teeth went all the way up to like my nose bridge area, like pretty much like a third world country surgery, how they had to take it out, and I ate through a straw for maybe 2-3 months, if not longer. They tried to put like fake horse teeth in my mouth. That didn't work out. Yeah, just a tough time. Just in general, as I recall. But that grew, like I said, that happened maybe when I was 6, 7 in IET. Came to America. My biological mother didn't see something of that to be something that she needed to fixate. Yeah, I dealt with it. I mean, I'm a beautiful guy. I'm not gonna lie. That is once, I guess you can call the physical imperfection of me. There's other things other people may not like in my features, maybe my lips, my nose, whatever, stuff like that. But I think for me, I've always been accepting of me through the good and bad, no matter the worst. I think for me, the teeth situation is just more like, it's hard for me to accept only because I know this is not me. You know what I'm saying? It's a situational thing, right? It's one thing if you have to deal with this idealization that, hey, those front teeth don't ever grow or nothing like that. But it's one thing when you have to understand that it's only that because of a circumstance of a traumatic situation that you had to occur. So for me, I take that with a grain of salt from the perspective that like shit happened, but I'm not letting life happen to me. And that's always been my positive notion and motion in regards to that situation. It's not easy, of course, but nonetheless, I move with purpose in all that I do. You know what I'm saying? So another big part for me in that explanation was me like having that understanding that, hey man, that kid must have been jealous, this, that, and the third, but I doubt that was like in his mind like, yo, I'm gonna knock this kid out for 3-4 months because I hate how he's bragging and dosing right now. He probably just wanted to embarrass me, you know what I'm saying, make me trip and make the kids laugh like, ha, you know what I'm saying, he looked goofy for tripping. I don't think the ending result was like, hey, I want this kid to live this situation from here, and also he gonna live this, you know what I'm saying? I don't perceive it to be that malicious unless he had some devilish work he had going on to put that in line, but I don't put it in that perspective like that. Cool. Initiative 3 is titled Spirit versus Flesh War. With this initiative, it really just goes into my idealization, and really this is where I would say Initiative 3 goes into speaking more about my spirituality, speaking more about my idealization of wordplays and how people look into life, right? So just I could word for word say this, and this is how the Initiative 3 starts. I'm not a man of faith, wish, hope, believe, but boy, girl, have I seen such work. I'm thinking my wordplay is separated based on direct communication or verbal sarcasm. Some say words are words of the world creator and other planets, stars, and universe. Infinity, Lord have mercy, if you mirror those to be the truth. I respect too much to disrespect so much. I put no emphasis on and our soul's creator, as I simply don't know, but intrigued daily to discover. So for me, I respect anybody's views. I respect anybody's beliefs, right? Wish, hope, you know what I'm saying, whatever they have faith on. What I won't respect is that to be mine because it's yours. What I won't take for disrespect is you looking at your belief as the only belief, ways of life. And I think a lot of time, many people are scared to talk to life. Or another term for for life would be talk to God, talk to the Creator. How do you want to decode that? And for most people, there's a religious fear that comes from it because it's like, I was told not to question God. Well, if you're not God yourself, of course you can't question God, right? But if you understand that God is in me, God is in you, why wouldn't you question yourself? You're not perfect. But it's the religious aspect of saying the Almighty is just this one person, and I have to want to be like the Almighty. I'm not the Almighty. And so you have that separation where then somebody can say, God is the greatest, God is good, but I'm not God. So you naturally separating yourself to be another entity because you don't accept the perfection of being a God. You don't accept the accountability that it takes to be a God. So of course, why wouldn't you? The biggest thing for me is that, like, biblically, as in my younger age, like, I felt so fearful of this God. Like, why is this God so jealous? Like, or why is this God so painful? An idea like to take my brain and positive views of you must be negative actions, right? The sins, the terminologies that's utilized. Like, I don't fight for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't fight for fearing anyone. I respect because the mutuality of the consistency that I understand, that I unify with, that makes that rightful for me. I'm not gonna just accept because I'm scared, or you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of people looking into religion for, or they accept religion for, because it's the fear of unknown. It's the danger of I better not question. So to suit your own, I would say, to that perspective. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna argue your viewership, but in my own likeness, on my own likeliness, I'm more forward upon, like, if Judgment Day is to occur, I would want the creator of life to judge me by me, not by me doing of others doing. And I think a lot of us are just living off the idealization of what somebody else written for us to be or do, or how to live a life of what is said to be righteous or not. The right and wrong already exists within me, you know what I'm saying? So why hinder that? Why play with that as if, like, I don't do no better, as if, like, I can't do no better? It makes no sense. So to whom given that state as much as required, it's the same polarity of, like, being real with yourself, being honest with yourself. You know what I mean? And also with this Initiative 3, I speak on the different aspiration of differentiation amongst coming from a third world country, you know, moving into, I guess, America, where it's like a whole, it's a total spectrum. Like a car light would light up a whole block in that third world country. You know what I'm saying? Even I remember in the Initiative 3 speaking on my first experience, you know, coming from the airport of America, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why is this like every fucking corner, you know what I'm saying? Like, pulling up to a Wendy's and like, what kind of place is this? Why is it so light? Because again, you don't get to see so much electricity being used from a third world country like I was too, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, those things for me drove me and aided me and to knowing myself in a lot of ways, because, like, as much as, like, I didn't know, I was learning that it was for me to learn, because this is what the universe wanted me to experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be anywhere as a human and be limited as forever as you could be, right? But with opportunities comes from you to enhance yourself and broaden your horizon, you know, spread out your branches, they would say. So that was my moment, I think, in spirituality to fulfill my quest, right? Because in one way I'm feeling the void of like missing my grandmother, who's like the biological mother to the life I know and stuff like that, right? And then on the other hand, I'm looking like this is so much more opportunity than I could ever dream of or experience to think that I would have coming from a third world country. So spirituality, it's a knowing of you. And I think for a lot of people, it goes into some origin of like land or culture or race and stuff like that. Namaste, the I and I. You know what I'm saying? The God in me seeing the God in you. Spirituality is knowing that there's good people and bad people in any race or culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the intuition that set the potency in the conversation with the spiritual beings, right? It's the divine comprehension of the emotions that we share by people, placing in things that a spiritual person oversees rather than underlooking for the social comparison of this and that and the third to be spiritual or not spiritual. So I place myself in a way higher point than I could be in my own judgment of what spirituality can be based on our social standard. Because as much as people that's define themselves and saying that they're spiritual these days, right? And how they felt like there was, a red-headed stepchild, a black child, whatever they want to say in the term, right, of being the outcast of that family. You now look in these spiritual circles, family circles, drum circle, however they want to confine themselves in terminology, right? You now look at it and it's like, yo, what's the difference or setting that you guys doing that the religion people that you were so angry or disliking of, what's the difference of it now, right? Because now if somebody doesn't wear their hair like you do with that or this certain amount of product, they're not spiritual. If somebody doesn't eat like you eat or eat this natural product that you say to be natural, then they're not spiritual. The same code of ethics that was used in the principles of creating religions is being utilized in the same format as spirituality. And that's not the true purpose and reasoning of spirituality. Spirituality is literally, it is the universal religion. It is the understanding that we all bleed the same. It is the understanding that like race, height, sex doesn't define the goal if understanding that we are humans in this one time together. That's the potency that spirituality gravitates upon. Cool? Copy that? Got it? Cool. Let's move. Initiative 4. Initiative 4 I titled I'll Sleep When I Die. Easily, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even think I could really have to go. I'm sure there's things that's very meaningful directly in me saying that. But it's simply like, I think I chose the best, like, I guess, perspective in titling that initiative. I sleep when I die. I've always been mentally nocturnal amongst where I'm at. Being a meditator, being a daydreamer, I guess you can call it, being a visualizer, Um, Overthinking, overanalyzing. Right, there's good. There's good. I'll admit, there's good. Like I said, meditating, visualizing, stuff like that. But there's the bad. There's the overthinking. There's the overanalyzing. There's the stress that's naturally put on that I naturally put on myself that I don't think I put on myself, or not knowingly prior that I put on myself. Being my own parent. That's where that term come from. I'll sleep when I die. It was something I was super comforted in, because it's like I found strength in that same title as well, because when you know help is not coming nowhere near around, it's like, hey, sometimes you gotta be the ball of punches that straighten up your own jaw, even if it meant that you punch your own jaw, if you get what I'm saying. Like, the same person that gotta make you get up is sometimes gotta be the same person that whoop your ass, and that gotta be yourself, at least for me. And me saying that is, like I said, me growing up being my own parent. Wow. Saying that, it gravitates to me, because I'm always so proud of myself, and that same term, I'll sleep when I die, takes away sometimes of my strength, the proudness of myself, because I'm in the moment of grinding, right? It's hard for me to, whoo, good job, Jamie, boy. Damn, Bass, I'm proud of you. Like, I could say good job to myself in a sense like that, but I can't take a moment of like relaxation. Like, it's like, what's next? Or like, let's get it. Like, what else can we do? How can we improve? And a lot of that sometimes, like I said, bring natural stress over me that I didn't analyze to be stressed. You know what I'm saying? But that's the point of you over operating your brains to where you don't understand that you need to grow sometimes is to at times stop, you know what I'm saying? To accept silence, to accept movement to be no movement. And for me, I've always been in the competition of myself of like, how can I make this situation better? You know what I'm saying? Whether it's my situation personally or somebody else that I'm involved with or I'm dealing with. How can I improve such things? You know what I mean? That's been always my goals in that perspective. Like, it correlates also with my I guess body type, which is kind of funny. You would say like, oh, why would you align that? You're sleeping your dial, your mindset of like, because even with fitness, right? I'm a slim body dude, and it's like, even with eating, like a lot of times people don't understand like the idea of gaining weights and gaining muscle and stuff like that, looking bigger, getting bigger. It's a balance. It's a balance of being mindful, right? The meditation, the sleep. It's the balance of being active, right? The physical exertion of working out. And of course, the third principle is the balance of your nutrition, the food intake, the protein that you're allowing your body to produce by putting such good protein in you, right? So for me, I sleep when I die goes into that effect, because as an analyzer, as a thinker, as a writer, as a poet, my food sometimes is creating. So me eating is me eating my thoughts into reality, right? It's like this, like the intakes of like what the food is will be the thoughts, right? The chewing process will be the words that comes into play, and the swallowing of the food will be the writing of the words that were set to be played that made the finishing product, right? And that finishing product in totality is the meal that I just completed. And virtues of my mind and my hands or thought process completing that. And like I just said with fitness, the sleeping, the nutrition, right, and the exertion part of it is the full 100% key, which all three emphasis plays 33% of, right? Where I can be good at all three, I can also hinder myself at all three based on my spiritual ways or my spiritual balance of naturally fasting without knowing that I fast, right? Because the way my spiritual food intake is burning food by thinking that I'm eating, right? I'm eating these thoughts, but they're actually burning my calories. I don't know, and that's the best way I can make sense of it, because like it's not that I don't want to eat more, but I eat physically because I need the nutrients and the minerals in my body. I can't eat physically for the process of applying weight, right? Unless my body asking me to put food in me. And because I'm a spiritual divine being that's intuitive to my own telepathic thought, right? Because I'm a portal, I'm a source of information that the universe are allowed to utilize whenever I'm free and able and capable, right? Which is those segments of eating habits, like I say, where I get source of information that comes to me like food, right? And for me to eat it is for me to burn it out through my literature, through my thought process. So naturally for me, I would want to eat more. I would want to work out more, do of that more, sleep more. But naturally, for me, comes for me where food comes in a different way for me. It comes from a different source for me. So it's not just the idealization of me just getting food physically, but it's the mental and spiritual side of food that galvanizes. You know what I'm saying? And that term, "I'll sleep when I die," it really goes in that complex view for me in that spiritual, as a spiritual being, right? Because my mind is the universe that I have within me, but also it's the universe that I have within me that I can express outward to really show people, places, and things what's my inner care about. You did. Now, we go to Initiative 5. Power feels like you. Power feels like you. Initiative 5, like I said, it's really, how would I say like I said if I just started explaining to you? But I'm saying it in the sense of Initiative 5 is going into the idealization that in my biography experience in those moments, I was always, Lord, I'm gonna try this word again. Alienated. I think I get it, guys. Alienated. I was always alienated to my own thoughts amongst like, who are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you an alien? Because biological mother treats you like the worst person she know, you know what I'm saying? No love from the aspect. Stepfather is like, my stepfather, I say father with an S. My stepfather, I would say, great man, but like I said, I'm still his stepson. I know the differences of when, hey, I'm taking my son to go see his cousin and stuff like that, and you're here, right? The friends that I have, like I said, the Jamaican side of me, but understanding, yeah, you're not really family. You know what I'm saying? So I always had to kind of fickle the idealization of being the third wheel in a lot of situations, in a lot of homes, you know? And that feeling for me compelled me to limit my own personality when I was growing up, because you're trying your best to not have outlandish or overtaken personality, right? Not to be so expressive, right? To it's like you want to be somewhere and cause the least amount of problem, and you want to show yourself that you're doing that, so that way you don't place yourself in a bad situation, in a bad circumstance. Yo, so that to me emphasized that situation. And like I was telling you in the initiative one, where my birthday, I had no recollection of it. The initiative situation for me in the initiative power 5 that says power feel like you was because there was a situation that my 8th birthday was coming up, and my teacher that year, that's why I was doing she was doing birthday parties for the kids, so on and so forth. So me never had no birthday parties and nothing like that, you feel me? That was my first time having that ability, so I was super excited, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about that, which was crazy, she's like, ain't your birthday September, James? So she was going off all the kids that birthday could be on September. I'm like, yeah. She's like, what days? I'm like, the 9th, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know days at that time as a kid. Meaning, like, I just knew numbers. Like, they say the 1st was January, the 2nd was February. You know what I'm saying? They're big numbers when you saw on the calendar. I remember seeing them the 1 to like 28, 1 to 30, 1 to 31, but I'm like, I don't know what it meant for, you know what I'm saying? At that time in my life, I couldn't read a calendar. That's to be transparent, right? Well, I didn't understand the totality of how to read a calendar. So I know my birthday was in September, and I knew there was a whole bunch of numbers in the middle. I didn't understand them, so I was like, September 9th. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, that's my birthday. And yeah, she thinking like, oh, this kid definitely must know his birthday, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third. She accepted as is. So I remember that day I got fly, this, that, and the third, bro. Like, I put on my best dress clothes. And before I left home, my biological mom like, where you going? She's like, oh. I'm like, oh, today's my birthday. We having cupcakes at school, this, that, and the third. This lady just laughed at me like, ka. I'm like, all right, bitch, keep on hating. No, I ain't call her a bitch. But I'm like, damn, dog, like, why you hating on the kid? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck you. I ain't bringing you no cupcake anyway. And that goes on to, yeah, I'm thinking it's my birthday. I'm telling the teacher this, that, and the third. But lo and behold, man, it wasn't. And how I found out was like going into the cafeteria at that time when you used to put in your lunch number on the day of your birthday, beep, 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 happy birthday. So I think it was somebody else's birthday as well, and that happened to them. It didn't happen to me on the night. And then like after lunch, my teacher, she pulled me to the side. She's like, you don't know your birthday, don't you? I'm like, no, it's September. She's like, no, that's not your birthday. I just went, she's like, I went to the principal office because I'm like, that don't seem to be right. And she's like, he told me, based on your file, your birthday is September 26th, okay? It's the 26th of this month, September 26th. I'm like, I don't remember if I said okay, I don't remember if I nodded, I don't remember what was my statement. I was embarrassed like a motherfucker. But I remember she pretty much was embarrassed for me as a child in the spectrum, like probably thinking like, damn kid, how you don't know your birthday? And then going to that point, like, who didn't tell you your birthday, you know what I'm saying? So it went like that, and for me, I'll never forget walking home that day. I was fucking pissed. I was pissed, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was pissed and angry to the point where, like, I think like I almost lost the fear of my biological mother because obviously I was 8 or maybe no, not maybe 9 or 10, right? And at that time, she was bigger. Obviously, her words. You know what I'm saying? You're a kid. People say things to you, you cry. You know what I'm saying? So that day was the first day I was like, this. Excuse my French, but this fucking bitch. Like you lied to me. You know what I'm saying? Or now and then also I remember, oh, that's what she was laughing about. So you knew it was not my birthday. You know what I'm saying? It was like that embarrassment. And yeah, I kind of walked home and like she knew I was pissed. I just went into the room and say shit to her. And from that perspective, power feels like me. And from that perspective, I would take the initiative to say from that initiative, always allow yourself to go through your trials and tribulations so you can gain the experience that was meant for you. Sometimes we try so hard to hinder or limit the painful or the hurtful moments in life, but how do you actually grow if somebody's hindering that from you? So although that pain cuts deep in the sense because that is my biological mother, things of that nature, but I also respect that as well because, hey, that was my biological mother, you know what I'm saying? So that unconditional love that was supposed to be there, I understood that came with some condition. It is what it is, you know what I mean? We go on to initiative 6, the young old man. The young old man speak about this, I'm so silly. Initiative, yeah, so it goes on to really speaks on me living a life where I was older than I had to be mentally, physically, spiritually. Whatever my age says was just what my age said, but based on experience, man, life showed me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the for me especially like coming to America. Certain things I experienced already sexually with young girls was now I would say disheartening. Just because like I shouldn't have not been garnishing the opportunity at those times to play house, you know what I'm saying, so early and so forth, you know what I'm saying? Having to, you know, fast forward a year or two later, coming to America, you're 9, 10 years old, you know what I'm saying, thinking for yourself, thinking for the betterness of yourself, like the sort of friendship that you want to create and produce because you understand if you hang around this group, like you can go in jail and you don't got no support system like that would get you out of jail. So young old man states me, man, like having to make decisions before I knew what this decision could be, in a sense of like being my own parent early, having to think for myself like, if you don't do this, nobody else gonna do this for you. You know what I'm saying? If you do this, like every other kid right now, yeah, they got money to go buy this, but you need this to go buy for your clothes, school clothes. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what my adolescence/teenage years equipped it to. It equipped it to for me. To learn that every man is not divided by the same age, you know what I'm saying? Every man is not defined by the same experience, you know what I'm saying? I got the old viewership of what it is to be a man in a sense, and I don't fight that, you know what I'm saying? I don't fight the, Lord, I just lost the word. I don't fight the abandonment of what occurred to me in my upbringing, you know what I'm saying? Because my sister, my half biological sister was abandoned from her mother as I was, right? Luckily for her, she still had her biological father, but the abandonment circumstance and tough situation that my biological mother placed on her only daughter, to where, like, you know what I'm saying, where another man gotta take care of you, and that emotional state that only a woman can understand certain times when it comes to like your period and stuff like that. I don't know, for me, it always like made me look at what she did to me as nothing, because I'm like, damn, if you could abandon your son, that's one thing, but your own daughter, like, you know what I'm saying, to know men out there raping, to know men out there like forcing themselves on women, you know what I'm saying, you just abide your own womb like that, as far as like your only daughter. To me, like I said, the young old man came to me early because I viewed my mother as a goddess before she understood that, you know what I'm saying? Her self-hate and neglection to her kids was something I'm like, yo, you're a goddess, you're a queen. I attempted to put potency among her views, you know what I'm saying? But you learn that's not something that you can truly convey somebody what their life should be. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like, I've always been comfortable under my own skin, like, regardless how anybody could view me, I don't care. Like, and I think being my own parent and living that life where life was so tough early, like, I ain't got no time to impress you little kids. Getting fucking clothes, shoes from y'all mama and shit like that. Y'all think I'm supposed to be sensitive to y'all trouble ways, or you bragging on me and what you got, and I know what I got, I work for. It ain't it ain't like that to me. It ain't galvanized me at all. Like, it ain't galvanized me to see myself as a lesser being, but more strengthen me. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I want to finish off with just the last paragraph of this, the young old man, because it's very significant. For me, I go on to say, from our birth giver to all us, from our birth giver to us all as siblings, never been in line with the communication. We never been consistent with that. I was average throughout middle schools in all phases. Too cool to work, but too smart to not pass the class. Perhaps I could have been Mr. Popular, but my insecurity from my smile was not something I adorned. So my personality of creativity and inner happiness athletically wasn't shared easier outwardly unless comfortable with you. How you gonna crack on me about having a missing tooth when I just simply would have smiled or talk with my bottom lip so you wouldn't see? Won't be the butt of your joke was my insecure strength of thought. This covering up would hurt me in moving forward. When asked for assistance on the things I needed, Eastland simply laughed or ignored me. Eastland would be my biological mother. By example, I know this sounds harsh, but it was almost like asking the devil or a negative entity to be nice. Imagine that. Hey life, hey life. Sorry, imagine that. Hey my life, you making a little too hard. You mind taking it easy on me for a while? What kind of answer would you expect from such entity? Good luck with a good one. You know what I'm saying? So that notion was just speaking on me early, understanding that, like, hey, energetically, my biological mother moves like a devil. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't want nothing positive for me. Attempt to get a job. She doesn't want to help me get a state ID. You know what I'm saying? I want to play sports. Doesn't want to sign my physical. So I'm like, clearly you don't want nothing positive for me in this lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Help me fix my dentist, 12, 13 years old now. Forget that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like literally I understood who hated me, because that person literally I was birthed from. You know what I'm saying? Like what do I need to lie to myself about or of? The reality is just literally from day one. The toughest thing for me was to accept the love outward, because some of the people appreciated me or respected me more than my own biological mother. That was fucking very confusing. You know what I mean? So, initiative 7, daring truth. Daring truth. Daring truth, I started off, jealousy from my brother and mother was so normal. I thought they was plotting on me. But your view to that, every time you had loved ones come over, your heart felt light and free, and soon as they're gone, you're worried about where you're going to be attacked, not knowing which one will be doing so. So, furthering on to initiative 6, I speak on the diversity of living in a life where your biological mother hates you and dislike your, I guess, gifts or ability, hates or despise your biological father, so keeping all that hate, anger of him from you. Half biological brother, dislike of you because of whatever his own insecurities, his own reasoning is. Having another side of a step family that exists with my stepfather and his son and those cousins that lives in one household but convey two different persona. You know what I'm saying? Where in transparency, the stepbrother and the step cousins were a lot more family to me than my own biological mother and brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, questioning why they doing you like that. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the experiences that I had to deal with as the brother, in a sense, going through the circumstances, you know what I'm saying? As also being the youngest one in that household, but having it the worst. And that was it, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that was like the truth of having to confine in, you know what I'm saying? That for me at least, hate I experienced first came in home, you know what I'm saying? Like they say, those who experience hate or negative is normally the people that's closest around you that's going to be the one doing it. So trust me, I know that to be 100% fact. You know what I mean? So Dare Truth decodes my, like I said, diverse background within my Jamaican uprising with my brother John, who became like another brother from my mother, as his mother took me, like his grandmother took me, like his auntie took me, right? So that correlated with my cousin Gary, who was already friend with John from when it was like 11, 12, and then I met John from like 12 to 13, and just naturally, just a good sync of young dudes, man. So the Daring Truth really is another initiative that speaks upon that personal, in-depth livelihood, having to deal with that household with a mother that dislike you or want to banish your growth, with a brother that match the same energy, you know what I'm saying, correlating with some family and friends from the oppositions that see you in a better light, that want somewhere better for you, right? It's showing you a different viewership of what family could be or look like. So that's what my cousin Gary, like my brother from another John, other friends, and so on and so forth, from that group of community, that's what we built at that time. And that was very special. Some other details, I'll be transparent, I'm leaving out in regard, but it's depth, and I would definitely recommend for you to get a copy of that book whenever you get a chance to. All right, we go on to Initiative 8, which is Infinite Love. So for me, I can start off by reading this short paragraph in the beginning, just to give you a perspective of what this chapter consists of. Infinite Love, Initiative 8. Sex, as I explained earlier, was educated by experience, not my surrounding, meaning what I knew I did, what I didn't know I learned. Before I was a man, I had it planned. I was a baby thinking babies. Very young, I had dreams of being my father as a husband and my mother being my girl by wife. That's correct. Fatherless and motherless kids turn to adults who need their partner to be something in which they never had. This in which what I would call a punctual heart or love on dialysis. My first love was just as explained. I was her dad's boyfriend as she was my mom's girlfriend. Infinite love. In this chapter, I speak on my love experiences, relationship, and as you would see as I started off, at least from my culture, coming from a third world country, coming from an African American black culture in America, young love, puppy love, man, people die for, women and men kill for it, because it's like, without the proper upraising, the proper structure of allowing somebody to confine self-love first, your first knowledge of love is giving it to somebody else or finding it in somebody else. But you never learn it through yourself. You know what I'm saying? So the eagerness of what it is for a young teenage boy or girl to get into a relationship and not understanding what they're doing, but playing a role that they're seeing is one of the scariest factors, because true emotion are being captivated with this role playing. True actions, being sex, is being manifested through this situation where babies, sexual transmitted disease and so on can be alerted to. You know what I mean? So in a lot of ways, you think that it's innocence, oh, it's cute, this, that, and the third, but we don't train the young girl, young boy enough about that. We let them play house and think, oh, it's so cute, this, that, and the third, but we don't understand the idealization. You playing house from 5, 6 years old. Oh, I'm the dad, you know, the teddy bear's the kid, and then they 13, 14 years old, so on and so forth, and something pop off. I mean, we've been training like this is how, you know what I'm saying? But we don't train the growth in our sexuality from like respecting your sexuality, respecting your body, sacred energy exchange, deploying the potency of what that does. Not just from the baby making aspiration, but just the manifestation of the livelihood that you exceeding because the different people you're connecting with through such sacred space. It's one of those things I can admit where you grow up not really consulting to yourself honestly like what you're doing in sexual action besides, I just want to get it. I just want to get it. And seeing women at times as just numbers, right? And seeing women at times as just like somebody that can please my sexual needs, right? Because you're upraised of like, this is what it's for. You don't really get to confine in how many souls you're actually implementing, right? Or consulting in when you're having those activities. So a lot of us set sex to be something as pleasure, but also sex is obviously you creating life. You can manifest energetic field from people, places, and things, and sometimes we lose hold of that. We lose the grasp of that, and I think that's what really makes it tough, you know what I'm saying? It makes it a tough plea to really like establish the totality of your purpose in love and your purpose in relationship. It ain't easy. It's not easy at all. Infinite 9, the transition. Infinite 9 practically just goes into me getting up from the adolescence of my livelihood, you know what I'm saying, being grateful that I was not trapped. I'm definitely not free from my upraising regarding the certain circumstances, things of that nature, but mindfully I'm not trapped into the crab in the bucket. I'm not trapped into treating others as I was treated, right? I'm a work in progress, I'm a work in process, but I would definitely say I take the initiative to understand the inevitable that life brings. I can also bring to me into my life, which is change, right? So the negativities that I've obscured based on experiences, I can alternate for positivity. You know what I'm saying? I take the accountability amongst, honestly, since 13 years old, I take the accountability. Some things, yes, it could have been a lot easier, where if I had help and assistance, of course. But I can honestly admit too, since that age, I've been capable to make a path for myself. And some paths I've certainly made a lot harder because, yeah, again, lacking no structure and stability is gonna make it harder on any person. But I can admit after the second time, after the 3rd time, after the 4th, whatever that may be, the 5th time, it is up to me. It is up to you. You can't hold yourself as a victim because how it started. If you allow things to keep going how it's going based on how it was started, then that's on you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, people naturally victimize themselves because they say this is what it was. Get in trouble once, you go to jail, God forbid, learn from it. But no, you've been there 7 times, but you want to say it's the system. You place yourself in a system. You're absolutely right. We can all be victims, all of us, because we all got assholes. You know what I'm saying? We all got assholes. So who can't make up an excuse? Who can't pick up an excuse? It's the easiest thing to carry around. You know what I'm saying? So for me, in conclusion, there is none. And that's really the totality. That's really the totality in that perspective, because transitioning means that you have to make a movement that wasn't in line with what your past was. So for you to transition means that you have to pivot. You have to do something that's out of the ordinary. You know, get out your comfort zone. And that's really what this chapter was about. Making ways for myself, regardless even I couldn't find the ways or see the way. You know what I'm saying? So I will finish this edition of 9 by speaking at the back end of what that transition looked like. In my lifetime, from my birth-given closest friends and family, there's always been a couple saying about her back to me. You know who she is. Don't pay attention to her. She's always angry. Me and her not talking based on what she said to others about me. It's her way or the highway. As imperfect she, my birth giver, is and was, I can respect her direct response to people. She's a liar. She's a liar at heart to never admit any wrongfulness. However, she'll defend her soul and viewpoint if she's alone and no one has ever done the same for her. To which her and I share such pain, I can admit this mutually upraises me as the same by experience. In this upraising, smiling in your face while their eyes roll back in disgust was the way of life. Nosy people need sense. Nosy people need senses by stories to enhance their smell. Most time you get attention just for that person to get information from you. It's just the way of the universe. We all want to know what we don't know. To a friendly human, what happened is a gateway to express but can never decode the reasoning of such questions. Where you win, you can lose. Where there's pain, you can gain. Where there's help, there's captivity, self-observance, self-awareness, ownership, risk. Experiencing all cycles that every soul must grow through at point of time. Love you, don't want to away from, run to love you. So clearing that out in that instant, me finishing that off was that I'm saying that, like, in my lifetime, those friends and family of my biological mother, everybody would tell me, oh, you know how she is, man, that lady's a devil, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. She comes around, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, fake. So for me, although I dislike that my mother approach in her ways was not the best way in communication, so on and so forth, I certainly still held a respect and title for her in regards to, like, how she didn't bullshit people, how she just said however the fuck she said, and you either gonna like it or you gonna love it. People gonna be fake around her only made me understand, like, you know what, I'd rather be like her amongst that, like, yeah, I'm not treating people in a malicious, negative way as her, but my bluntness and truthfulness amongst what I feel and care for, I'm gonna appreciate that. I'm gonna take that from her. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what I wanted to galvanize, that is that, like, there's always a way to learn. You know what I'm saying? It's not really about a situation being positive or negative. It's the learning aspect of it, of what you're able to gain from such thing or place. You know what I'm saying? And that's really the goal. You have to have a solidified minds among how you're looking at things. Last initiative would be the conclusion, which titled There's None. The reason why it's titled There's None, because conclusion would be the ending, right? And clearly, as the author of this book, I'm breathing, and at that point, at this moment, I'm achieving. I'm grateful as thankful that I'm still breathing. And from that reason, I could, I guess, read the first paragraph or so you can understand why there's none conclusion. My actions, diet, languages, experiences, relationship are still processes of growth that I have not fully obtained. Infinite are my abilities, limited by the shackles in my mind. Let's speak soulfully. If spirituality is the continuation of one spirit experiences and understanding from one flesh to another, then I've been living for an eternity from the beginning. Wisdom of information at time I never knew of until my eyes are drawn to, until my body is felt through, until my nose is then senses, my ears is heard true. Then same voice from the beginning, you're crazy if you talk to yourself. No, this is simply an intuition conversation. Okay? So, what is conclusion if there's constantly beginning thought? There's an afterthought, right? We can stop right now in silence and life goes on. So, conclusion in life is that there is none if you're still living. If you're existing, then there's still growth. I still got so much purpose living for me, right? In totality, I'm still not breathing in a full tactical manner that I know that I was birthed to do so, but I'm working on it. I'm working on my diet on a daily basis because financially, I'm in a society that is plagued on the health idealization of what medicine is, because there's pharmacies that makes money on that, right? So there's always room for improvement, especially if we know better, thou shalt what? Do better. So I'm not running away from that. And I'm not going to run away from those imperfections that I speak on, because that's what makes me perfect, is that I know there's imperfection and there's days in my life that I can count, that I can work on doing better and being better. So why run away from? So there can't be no conclusion. If you got things you want to do and get accomplished out this life, there can't be conclusion. So I'll finish off with one more sentence to complete the conclusion of initiative. Being that this is my cause, you sometimes feel as you cannot breathe. So holding my breath and meditating like a monk was a norm for me in the art of manipulation, or mentally diffusing pain I visually seen going away. Calisthenics become a go-to as my neck, back, hips, legs are all affected by my body misalignment. The body is like a motorcycle. You get what you put in, and also if one piece is not in place, the effect it can have on the other pieces can be more damages down the line. My calling through artistry prevails me as I'm unlimited to what I can achieve. Your ability is not up to others, but again is upon you. All that can become true is only up to you, and the things you do is in actions of you and you're attentive to. Nothing from yesterday should limit how I live in today. My story is not my story, but our story. How we all start don't define how we end. Be fruitful, the seed of truthful to begin. There's no conclusion. Ta-da! And honestly, I think I did a nice depth perspective of summarizing all the initiative today. Grateful for your time and beautiful in alignment. What I would like to do for you is comply you with 3 different poetries / what I would call as moetries, right? Moetry is the motion and poetry coming together, making that newborn moetry. And what I like to do is, perform some of those poetry from Se Lavi De Moi book. Go ahead and get that copy, like I said, available on all book platforms sold. This poem is titled, To Be or Not to Be. Be truthful or die with a heavy heart. Be fruitful and roots in to the very start. Can't live off how you want me to. Can't give life my being to do. Powers I know I must sustain, knowing my weakness not can't remain. My future's my past, brightness of darkness. Past is my present, loving and likeness. Then the change gonna come. Die for indifference until these pains me numb. Made up my mind, living for love. Acted on the hate effects I should have put above. Higher, breaking ceiling as my feet leaves ground floor. Untamed, unlocked, finally receive the keys to Pandora's door. Deep in my core, I store perfection, distant long ways from neglection. This ends my confession, self-insured, self-progression. Poetry number 2. Outer religion cover inner spiritual pyramids. 9. I'm asking more for the understanding of faith. Struck's no belief, impatient, can't wait. Days change, though yesterday was the same. A man's viewpoint can be my pictures to frame. Word is bond, as causes by actions. Life is math, you add, multiply, divide, some losses, add some subtractions. Don't tell me a name descriptively called God. Gold, oil, drugs, yet religion's the odd. Every clan believe they're the chosen ones. So special a birth, mother gives daughters and sons. We got so many names for this life. Was Adam fornicating Eve without making her his wife? Sharpener, no pencil, meant a tool, see spirit as knife. Cutting and slicing, invading the curses, I came out the vices. A roller, my gamble is the chances taken. Remembering a throw provide number and dices. How many so expect you to walk a straight line without questioning the blue or red pill? Heard the devil runs the church, repenting all sin, yet is such sent to hell still? The womb of our world is infested, thrusted adversity, birthing religion to read out nursery. Hear no evil, see no evil. Humans mean people. Different gods changes equal. Woo! You gotta feel me, you gotta feel me. You gotta feel me, keep it real me. Poetry number 3. It's okay to grow. 9. Water bounds fall. I'm shorter than tall. In fact, I'm most to all. In act, I'm stand before crawl. Known as die to y'all. Related as connection comes call. The master of law, the judger of flaw. Height, the perception of lies. Low, the tearing notion of cries. Slicing up apple for the baking of pie. Life is not chances. Either you cause it or die. I wonder. Most say, why try? Perceptional lie. Gender assumption is only woman and guy. What goes up is a must to calm down. Reverse role. A slave kinging with a crown. Water baby. Suffocating belly hate me, nearly drown. Ounce of pain, begun myself loving by the pounds. Gain balance, the key to my life. Duality unified, like husband to a wife. Peace, prosperity, power. This is JaMes Peter Bastien, MB90 podcast show, and all ascending you satisfaction. May you love yourself, may you love your surrounding, and each moment, for each second, feel your heart. That's your love pounder, baby. Peace.